Hey everyone, Lauren Wild here, the Church Witch. Just wanted to make sure that I'm recording before okay, sorry. Happy new moon in Aquarius. It has been quite a shocking week for me. I don't know how it's been for you. But essentially, this is just going to be diving into the energetics of what is going on with new moon in Aquarius and how it will come into illumination with the full moon in Leo in 2 weeks, okay? Which will be like right after Imbolc. So with new moon energy, it means that the sun and the moon are in exact conjunction, okay? So they're at 4 degrees of Aquarius. So early degrees of Aquarius, not too far away from a Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, okay? This is a pretty intense new moon. Like most new moons are chiller, like they're more of that like introverted energy. This is not that, okay? This, this new moon is like shock, surprise. It's also like, you know, yesterday was the culmination of dark moon energy in Capricorn. Capricorn is where we had this, you know, huge Saturn and Pluto conjunction on the 12th. We also had the eclipse portal, which was 2 weeks of massive change that kind of forced us into where we are now. And we still have 4 planets in Capricorn right now, okay? So you can see we've got the South Node here. We've got Jupiter in a conjunction to the South Node, which is a pretty heavy transit in itself. And then we've got Saturn and Pluto, you know, within a 1 degree, it's starting to fade, all right? So by March, you know, like we'll be feeling a little bit better because Saturn is going to be out of conjunction with Pluto. However, it will be merging into 0 degrees of Aquarius. And it's going to kind of graze over what we're talking about now. So in a lot of ways, this new moon is like a new opportunity. Aquarius is all about innovation. It's about the future. It's very futuristic and progressive. And it's all about freedom. It has co-rulers. The old astrology school of thought said that Saturn ruled it like Capricorn. New astrology says it's Uranus. And man, there is so much Uranus involved in this particular new moon. That's what that shock factor is. That's what that like it feels like lightning. And that's because Uranus is the awakener planet. It's 4D consciousness, and it's earthquake energy, lightning energy. It is central nervous system, like a jolt of energy. A lot of astrologers believe that Uranus is the internet, like the Ethernet. 4D consciousness, right? So it's energy that has taken form in its own formless way. and then we get material, right? Like this, you're looking at me and you can see me, but you can't actually touch me, but you can see me and build like this field, right? That's like very 4D Uranus energy. It's innovative, right? And so we are looking at the first new moon of a new decade. And it's coming in hot. It's coming in strong. You know, we still, like I said, we've still got 4 planets in Capricorn. So we're still dealing with material, and Jupiter's just zipping along in Capricorn, already at 12 degrees. Now it will retrograde, but what Jupiter does is before it takes its retrograde for about 4 or 5 months, it gives you a lot of like energy to focus on like what you need to see, and it really gives you like this big push of like new creativity. And Jupiter is positivity and is very jubilant. It's also very indulgent, and so what it does is it takes on like everything. It's like, I want to taste you and you and you and you, and I want to taste you too. I like you, I want you, I want you. And it's a little different in Capricorn. In Sagittarius, it was like bar none, like whatever you want, indulge. Capricorn is definitely more practical. It's more disciplined. Its ruler is Saturn, so it's about time and it's about practicality. And so what happens when Jupiter retrogrades is essentially the way that I was taught it is that Jupiter is like a hot air balloon. Okay. So in the first, 6 months that Jupiter is moving direct, you are like getting the hot air balloon ready, and you're like stuffing all this stuff in your basket, and you're like trying to get the balloon off the ground. And shortly right before the retrograde happens, you try to get the basket off the ground, but there's too much in the basket, and the retrograde period is about getting rid of what's in the basket that you loaded in there, so that you can get it off the ground. And then when Jupiter goes direct, that's when you get the balloon off the ground. This is really important because Jupiter in Capricorn is practicality. It's foundational skills. It's like, how do we make this work, right? Because Capricorn says, I work. How do we make this work? So what we're looking at right now is a lot of like practicalities, but because it's conjunct the South Node, it's also like forcing this magnifying glass to expand all of our shit from the past. So like with Jupiter sitting on the karmic South Node, expanding it, it's like we feel like we've gone backwards. And with Pluto and Saturn in conjunction, like this is power struggles, it's collapses of power. It's like decade long, like 30-year long things coming to closure, coming to end, paradigms dropping off, right? Like it's power struggles of like what is very traditional in your life. Okay. Then, we have Uranus involved, and Uranus has been involved in this for about going on 2 years. Okay. So we got our first big push of what happened when Uranus moved into very early degrees of Taurus in March of, it was about April. It was between March and April of 2018. You got a taste of what it was, right? Like you got this taste of like the change to come, and then it retrograded back into Aries. And then in spring of 2019, it made its actual entrance into Taurus. And Taurus is the area of our life we want the most stability. It's where we want the most practicality, and it's what we want the most materialized, right? Like it's like what we want to embody, what we want to taste, touch, feel, experience, right? So like wherever Taurus is in your chart is like where the change is happening. Okay. And so this started to herald these big changes in our own personal worlds. Again, like I said, in spring of 2018, then it pulled back, and then it was like pretty heavy duty in 2019. And Uranus is severance energy. It's divorce energy. Okay. And that's why I call 2019 the divorce year. And so everybody divorced something, whether that was a long-term career, a religious path, a partner, a belief about self. Like it doesn't matter. Like everybody I know had massive changes and divorced something in 2019. And because of the fact that this new moons mean new opportunities. They're the seed planting stage. It's like where you plant the intention. The full moon is where you start to get the illumination of what that actually looks like. Okay. And the dark moon energy, the day before the new moon, is when you start to release like what didn't serve it so that you can keep going. Okay. And if you're interested in that, make sure you check out my Patreon, because I've got my, my moonology stuff on there so you can understand the lunations better. Now, because of the fact that the sun and the moon are squaring Uranus right here. So see this big thick line? This is a square to Uranus. It's bringing about the reminder of all the changes, because this degree is like right where it's stationed to go retrograde this summer around August. Okay. And that was a huge relational shift, that full moon, in Aquarius and the new moon in Leo. That's what we're bringing the culmination to in this new moon cycle, relationships. All right. That was a big contract ender and beginner. And so we are talking a lot about relationships, to self, to other. And you have to understand that Aquarius is very intelligent, and it's very intellectual and smart, and honestly thinks it knows everything. Its mantra is, I know. We all have Aquarius in our chart, okay? But it's very detached. It's very smart, it's charismatic, but emotionally detached. So its polarity is Leo. Leo is super warm. It's very like humanistic. It wants to like touch you and hug you and protect you. and like be seen by you and like see you and like adore you and be adored by you. Okay. Leo is the sun. It's literally fire. Okay. Like it's the burn you if you touch it too close. Like it's warmth. Aquarius is literally Uranus. It's an ice planet. It is like, it's like, oh, I love my Aquarius people, but it's like, you can't really ever get super close to them. They just have like this like exterior of like ice, unless they have really strong like fire placements in their chart. And that's honestly just part of the Aquarian. Aquarius is the alien of the chart, the alien of the zodiac. So, you know, what we're looking at here is trying to find this access, this polarity between, you know, the self and the other. And so Aquarius is 11th house energy over here. It's friends, it's large group think, and communities. So Aquarius is very like group think oriented. It's not thinking necessarily just about itself, but it's not thinking about people necessarily as like individuals either. Like I know a lot of Aquariuses that are like, I hate people, but I love humanity. Like I will do whatever it takes to see humanity evolve, but like don't talk to me, right? Like so many Aquarians are like Aquarian predominants are like so futuristic and so innovative and humanitarian and, you know, philanthropist, and like they care about the public, but they're also incredibly introverted at the same time. Most Aquarians that I know will tell you that they could be in a room full of people that love them and they love them and still feel alone unless they're around other Aquarians. And that's because Aquarian energy, especially Aquarian moon, is very, it's very star nations, okay? Like some astrologers believe that it's also like alien intelligence that's trying to help humanity innovate. And I believe that, you know, I believe that. And so wherever Aquarius is in your chart is where you're getting this opportunity to have this big evolution, okay? So when you look at your natal chart, what you're looking for is what looks like waves, okay? It looks like two waves. Let me see if I can do this. So here you go. It looks like waves, all right? And so where that is in your chart denotes where this big innovation piece is happening, okay? And when we get to the full moon on, I believe the 9th, I believe it's the 8th or the 9th. Let me look really quick. Make sure I get it right. Yeah, okay, so it's on the 8th. The full moon in Leo is on the 8th. And it's at 20 degrees and it's at 11:33 p.m. So it's going to technically be the 9th on the Eastern time zone over here. But this is like a big shining opportunity to expand as the individual, okay? To be fully in our charisma, to be fully seen and fully loved and adored. Like this is like the pentacle of like your creative projects going out into the world. All right. So wherever, you know, that polarity is for you is like where that goes down. So what you want to do is you want to recognize, go look at your chart, figure out what house it's in. Okay. The house is what's important. And then look up, like mine's in the 3rd house, conjunct my natal Jupiter. All right. So you want to look up, like, what does that entail? 3rd house for me is like, writing, communications, my neighborhood, like all of these different aspects, my car, my day-to-day life, okay? And then the polarity of that for me is Leo, and it's conjunct my midheaven. So it's like the shining expression of who I am. So what it looks like and feels like for me is like a career shift, right? Like writing, really stepping into writing as a career. That's how I perceive it. If you want, and this is a general read, if you want to have your chart read for the new moon, full moon, you can check out my my website, and I have it on there. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive back into some of the other aspects that are happening during this new moon, okay? So we know that like the big heavy hitter is the fact that the sun and the moon are conjunct, right? So when the sun and the moon are conjunct, that means it's a new moon, and it's in a square, a challenging aspect with long-term effects if you can push through it and like commit to it. All right, so big opportunities if you can commit to it. And so that's like the biggest aspect that we have. However, there's so many different sextiles going on, okay? So see these green lines right here? These are sextiles. These are really helpful and harmonious aspects, okay? So Mercury is going to be sextile Mars, and Mars is making his way 14 degrees of Sagittarius, right? And so Mercury is communication, and Sagittarius is the mouth. And you get Mercury and Sagittarius and Mars in the mix, and it is like explosive rage, okay? Like it's rage, it's anger, it's a lot of emotions, it's volatile emotions, okay? It's like communicating volatile emotions. And there's so many aspects that are volatile and emotional in this new moon that it is like going to take us probably all of 2 weeks to integrate everything that happens during this period of time. And it's been working itself about 4 days before, and it's going to work itself about a week after. Like this is going to be a heavy moon to integrate because Uranus is involved. You want to move. Mars is involved. You want to move your body. Like you really want to move your body and like get the cortisol out of your body. Exercise, run, lift weights, like breathe, like pranayama, like breathing it out, get it out, cleansing breath. Because this one is heavy, okay? And heavy with like volatility and like just like rapid changing emotions and aggression, truly. Like this is an aggressive moon. And because it's also, I had to write down all of these aspects because there's quite a few that are pretty big. So Venus is also square Mars, okay? So Venus is up here at 13 degrees in a conjunction to Neptune, which is coming into a completion of the conjunction with Neptune, which is always confusing as hell. Neptune is like the fog, it's the disillusion. It is confusing, okay? So this means like, and Venus rules money, finances, and relationships, and beauty. And it's just like, blah, blah, like blurring the lines. It's confusing, and it's in this square, which again is a challenging aspect down here to Mars. And so Mars rules the masculine, and Venus rules the feminine. So we're looking at like a fight between the masculine and the feminine as well. So we could see that in the public, and like, it's a lot, all right? And so because Mars is down there in Sag, like it wants freedom. That's the push. It's like it wants freedom. And then Venus in Pisces, it just wants to be loved. It just wants to swim. It just wants to like feel loved. And then we've got, you know, Uranus over here that just wants the world to get its shit together, right? Like stop using so much plastic. Everybody doesn't need a freaking lawnmower. Like stop destroying the planet. You know, like everything's just kind of like pushing, and it's all coming to this like big head. Like it's coming to a head, and that's what we're feeling. Everything is looking for freedom and innovation, and it's like it wants to break out of the old paradigm. It doesn't want to be in a box anymore. It doesn't give a shit about like what has always been done. It's just like, I can't breathe. I can't think. I need freedom. Like that's what this new moon is saying to all of us, and that's what we're feeling. It's funny to laugh at, but it's not funny. All right. Now, let's talk about a couple of other things. So the new moon is also sextiling Chiron. All right. Chiron is the wounded healer, painful realizations and trauma, wounds, primal wounds, like fear coming up about like, you know, abandonment issues or self-worth issues or physical health issues, losing something, and it like triggers a core wound. Okay, Chiron is core wounds that were developed at a young age. They're very, very like inner child wounds, and it's coming into, so Lilith, which is like, you know, dark goddess energy, she will literally burn her life down to get free. Okay, there's 3 stages of Lilith, and I love me some Lilith. However, an unconscious Lilith will literally burn down her own home with her children in it to get free. Okay, so it's consciousness. If you're not a conscious Lilith, you will literally just like burn these bridges that you're not aware of. And with all the Uranus energy, with Mars and Sagittarius, like we got to be mindful. Okay, We all need to slow down and breathe. Just be mindful, work with the energy, not against it. Be mindful, recognize that whatever happens during this new moon has severance energy attached, meaning like when you complete it, like when you say it, you might not be able to go back from it, okay? So all of this being said, move your body, all right? Spend some time, like what are you wanting to innovate in your life? What do you want to do? Like what are your dreams? So Uranus is also the star card in tarot. The star is like your wish, it's your dream. It's like how, you know, how the universe shines a light on you, and it's also downloads from the universe. So what I'm going to challenge you to do today is to try to sit and let that energy pour through you. On the newsletter, you'll see a tarot spread idea, as well as some questions to ponder to sit in Aquarius energy and know how to use it best, okay? In terms of rituals, the thing about Aquarius is that Aquarius is so minimal. Like they are so, technology is important to them, but like they think of Apple, right? Like it's very minimal, clean lines, white, silver, gray, not much else. It's very minimal, okay? And so in that way, I want you to like declutter your space, make room, make space, okay? That's your ritual, and that may sound kind of mundane, but the thing is that wherever Aquarius is in your chart is what's setting you up for like this space moving so that you can be exalted in this full moon in Leo, which we'll talk about in 2 weeks, okay? So hopefully this has been helpful to you and serves you well. Stay grounded, all right? Like that energy is electric and it's angry, okay? Stay grounded, exercise, like nourish the root chakra, you know, root vegetables, sweet potatoes, rice, ground yourself down. Give yourself time to let this energy just like electrocute your ass, because that's what it's going to feel like. I know that's what it's felt like for me. And just like receive it and move it out. Keep like moving it out. Keep purging it out. Purge your house, purge your space, smudge your house. Like get prepared for all of the new energy that's coming through with the first new moon of a decade. All right, guys, I will catch you later, and I'll see you guys at the full moon in Leo recording.